Real Frank.
Hello, welcome to Real Frank Movie Reviews. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the new movie, The Batman. When the Riddler, a sadistic serial killer, begins murdering key political figures in Gotham, Batman is forced to investigate the city's hidden corruption and question his family involvement. In this episode, we will be discussing spoilers, so you have not seen the movie yet. Pause, go see it, and come back and watch this episode. If you're not too concerned, continue on. All right. For this episode, my special guest reviewers are Kevin and Raphael. Kevin, Raphael, welcome back.
Thanks for having us. Appreciate it.
Same ditto. Thank you for inviting us again.
Oh, it's so great to have both of you here. So let's start off with Raphael. What did you think about this version of the Batman story?
So, with this version, it was really interesting. A lot of hype coming out. Really excited. Got delayed. So I was really amped up for this. I wasn't expecting a lot. I'm going to tell you the truth. Robert Pattinson just wasn't sure on, Pretty Boy and his doing, him being a Batman.
Yes.
And so I didn't go in with a lot. I left very satisfied. I was very happy with what they did. And for your viewers, it's not the typical Batman. It's a different type of show. They went a little bit of different direction. Similar characters, but they went a different direction. I really liked how the director took the movie. So very, very happy with what I saw.
Yeah, it's kind of like a detective movie, right? And Batman was just a superhero detective, and the way he was there at crime scenes and stuff, right? Working with the police.
Yeah, I thought it was great because, if you're my age, you grew up with the '60s Fat Boy Batman, and it's all the gadgets and everything, and even Christian Bale with his Batman. There's a lot of gadgets, a lot of things that he's doing with his cave and everything. It's a different type. It's a different type of look. They took it a different direction, and it's more cerebral. And that's what I really liked about it. My son and I, we were talking about it. It really makes you think. You're not so focused on the things that are going on so much, but you're focused on trying to answer the riddles. That's what we were doing. Let's answer the riddles. And I thought that was great. Get you more involved in the movie.
Yeah, for sure. So, in talking about the Riddler and the riddles, how did you think he did, Matt Reeves, with the story of this particular movie, like starting this whole new franchise with this, with Bobby Robert?
Well, I thought the Riddler was great. He was outstanding. Probably one of my favorite characters in this movie. So I really like that. I like the direction he took. I do have some criticisms of the movie, which I think would have made the movie a little bit better. But I thought with the characters that they had and how they decided to take the movie with ratings, I thought they did very well.
All right.
So you like the whole serial killer aspect of the Riddler? Like that whole, I know when Jim Carrey was in, it was all campy, and it was always campy in the 60s show, but the serial killer aspect of it really touched base with you?
Heck yeah! I really liked. I was waiting for him to off somebody.
Yeah.
Else and,
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. So
sweet.
What I liked, what was cool, his whole introduction, right? Like when the mayor was in the office watching TV, and all of a sudden he was in the background, right? That was a really cool way to introduce that character. So.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I thought it was as dark as it could be. Yep. With a PG rating, and that would be one of my criticisms of this movie. Was I think they should have did more. Could have been a little bit darker, and I would have liked it a little bit more. But I know you want to keep it PG so you can make all the money. I know how that is, but I think with the movie itself, that's one criticism that I would have. I think they should have made a R-rated movie.
I think with the rated R rating, they still would have made the same amount of money. I just think people are ready for that kind of stuff.
I agree. Like, look what Joker did with the rated R rating. Like how much money that movie made.
Right. Yeah.
So, but no, it was a very dark movie.
So did you like the darkness of it, Kevin? Did you like the darkness?
sorry?
Did you like the darkness side of it?
I liked it. So my take on the movie was I didn't come into a lot of expectations like Raphael was, right? And when I was watching it, it didn't really click with me. So, like Raphael said, Pretty Boy, Robert Pattinson, it just didn't feel like Batman. He was, so I'll use the term emo, right? Just the way he was walking around and talking and looked sad all the time, basically. I know Batman's an happy character, but
he did look sad.
So, and then the costume itself, it was just like, it just felt to me like a tank, right? You know, like the body armor could take bullets and everything, and the way his fighting style was. So I really had. So I would say the first part of the movie, I had a hard time clicking with it, but there was a turning point for me, right? So I think as the story started to develop, really when the Riddler came on the screen and we started getting more into the Riddler story, that's when that movie started clicking with me, right? So
when the Riddler came in the screen, what scene are you talking about specifically? Like that got you in there?
Well, I thought the introduction was cool, where he was hidden in shadow, and all of a sudden he was there, and then you could tell it was like his first kill too, right? Because he was sort of hesitating before he did it. I think it was like breathing hard too before he attacked the guy, right? So I thought that was sort of cool that you're seeing the Riddler from his first kill on, right? And I don't want to go too far ahead, but there was a specific scene that I thought was really cool, and it was more in the second half of the movie. So.
I wonder if it's the same scene I'm thinking about. I'm interested in what you saw that you like, because I wonder if the one scene is we thought was just phenomenal.
Well,
and I did like. I mean, there was some action, but I thought the beginning. Well, also that whole monotone dialogue he did at the beginning, I thought it was a little heavy-handed too, right?
With Batman doing the
like when the movie first started and he was doing this long dialogue, but it was cool the visuals they were doing, like he was talking about fairer than criminals, and then you would see all these shadows, right? And you would see like those 3 separate scenes with the criminals. Like one was in the subway, the other one was robbing a bank, and the other one was doing a convenience store, right?
Right.
So they would look at the shadows and get scared thinking the Batman was coming. And it wasn't until the subway scene that you actually saw Batman come out, right? That was cool action scene, I thought. So
I actually like the narrative part of him talking in like that old Magnum PI type of thing. I thought that was kind of cool for this type of movie to incorporate that, because that was just, you never seen that in that type of superhero movie. And the darkness, I liked the creepiness of darkness, and I wasn't sure if I liked Robert as Batman either, but he won me over. He won me over.
Yes.
His stature, like how he was taller than everybody, the way they emphasized that in rooms and stuff next to people, the way he stared at people through that scowl, that crowd, it looked amazing. And I didn't know if I would like him because he's just a pretty boy playing all these little indie pretty boy movies, and he nailed it, man. I was blown away by his performance because I didn't think he could do it, and he did a great job. And the darkness, I love the darkness, and I love this like detective PI type of theme with it. Was just wasn't expecting it, and it caught me off guard, and I was sucked in.
One thing you'll see about this Batman, which is different from the others, is it's about Batman. So there's way less scenes with Wayne.
Yes.
And there's way more scenes with Batman. And so that's different. So as your viewers go into that, I love how they did that. So you're more into the key character as the movie goes on. It's more about him. It's not about, Wayne and the Enterprise and, all that backstory. No, it's about Batman. Batman kicking butt. Batman, going through trying to figure stuff out, and I just love that how they switched it up. So that was a nice switch for me.
Absolutely.
I will tell you, the one thing I thought was kind of funny was when you see him as Wayne. He's all clean shaven. He can go. Next thing you know, he's Batman. Dude, he's got the 5 o'clock shadow. Come on, man. You gotta work with that. Gotta fix that up.
That's funny.
And since you brought that up, my one thing that annoyed the hell out of me in this movie was when he was Bruce Wayne, he's riding the motorcycle and he's got his backpack. So in the backpack is his bat suit in the backpack. And then all of a sudden he just changes so quickly. Like the one scene where he's cutting the electricity or power in the building. And he goes in as Bruce Wayne, he's got a hood on, and then he's got the backpack, and all of a sudden he's Batman. I mean, how does that happen? He's got the suit like that in the backpack?
Yeah. A couple things, could have fixed up a little bit for me, but, I don't think it spoiled the movie.
No, not for sure. It was really great. What part, Raphael, since you're on the screen here, was your favorite part of the movie? What scene you just were like, wow?
Of course, the second half of the movie, like the hour and a half in, when Batman was in the elevator. So he's in the elevator, and they show it. He comes out. And he just starts smashing on these guys. But I loved it. Because if you guys notice, it was the way the cinematography was, it was flashes. So you don't see the whole fight scene. Everything's like dark, light, dark, light. And where have you guys seen that before?
I don't think I have ever. Just to use the idea of the gunfire is where the only light source in that scene. I don't think I've seen that anywhere before.
Yeah, I like how you said that. But it's similar to that Star Wars movie where Darth Vader comes in, and next thing you see his lightsaber, and he starts smashing everybody. It's the same type of scene where it's light, dark. You see the lightsaber going in. So I thought that was a cool thing that they did that was similar to Star Wars. But the scene was awesome. Yeah. The scene was awesome where he was beating those guys up.
Yeah, that was my favorite scene too. You didn't see him moving until the flashes of the guns, and that's how you were seeing him move around in the scene. And it was really,
what about
cool.
The other big scene with the car chase scene? What do you guys think about that scene?
Oh, with the Batmobile.
Yeah.
What you guys think of the Batmobile?
I'll start this one off. I don't know. You didn't really show the Batmobile. Like, it was dark. It was pitch black. They didn't show any details of the Batmobile. I wanted to see details of the Batmobile. You only got like glimpses of it because it was so dark, and there's fiery, and there's a chase. So you really can't see exactly what the car looks like, only from certain light angles from fires and street lights, but you never get a real good view of it. So I was kind of bummed by that. I wanted to get a good look at the Batmobile. Yeah. What'd you guys think?
I liked it. I liked how they introduced it. I mean, you saw it in his at his home base. Mm-hmm. You saw it a little bit from behind. Then you saw the engine was off to the side. He's working on it. But I liked how they introduced it in the scene they introduced it on when he's messing around with Penguin. I thought it was pretty sweet. I thought the chase was awesome. It was different. You knew what was about to happen. That's where I thought the R rating would have been a little bit better with Penguin and his dialogue and his interaction in the scene. But when he comes up out of there, because you knew it was about to happen because you see him hit the ramp. When he comes up out of there, out of the fire, I thought we just really loved that scene. And then next thing you know, he hit the other car and it's just twirling. So I like that. I like the gun flash scene better, but that was sweet.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. What about you, Kevin?
So, what did you guys think about? So, I thought the scene was a little too long, and I can't really pin it down to anything. And it was a little too claustrophobic too, I thought.
Which scene was that? Which one?
The car chase scene.
Okay.
Right? So, because you know how the cameras were like on the Penguin, he's always looking back, right? Like in a real chase, and Batman camera's always looking forward. So, overall, I thought it was a good scene. I don't think it was the best scene in the movie. But it was cool, like, especially when he had to hit that ramp and come over the ramp, right?
So what was your favorite part, Kevin? What was your scene that just you thought was the best in the movie?
So I guess this was the turning. This was really when the movie clicked with me, right? So it was more towards the end. It really started when they captured the Riddler. You know, when they broke into his building, and then the Riddler was in that diner or whatever, and then he just smiled after Batman. And the next scene, I think, was when they had that big long interrogation scene between the two of them.
Yeah.
That was building up to the end, and you thought that it was going to be and Batman thought it was okay, I'm done because he's going to out me as Bruce Wayne, but really it was something else that the Riddler was hiding, right? So
you're right. And then since you're talking about that, one of the things that annoyed me was his big secret map was underneath his carpet. His carpet.
Right.
Why the hell is it underneath his carpet? And then what if he wants to change his plan? He's got to pull up his carpet. What if he wants to show his friends? He's got to pull up the carpet. That was the most ridiculous thing I ever seen. He covered up a carpet.
Why is it under his carpet? So, I mean, all his minions or whatever, they're on the screen. So how are they going to see under his carpet?
Under his carpet.
With all the little lights and everything. Yeah, I thought that was kind of wanky. Could have did without that scene, personally.
Yeah, me too. I like if you're going to have your map or your secret map, have it somewhere else, not underneath your carpet.
Yeah, that's funny. And it was all because it was funny that he knew what the tool was because the cop told him. And he just started tearing up the carpet, right? So
yeah.
Let me ask you guys this. Do you guys think the Riddler knew Batman was Bruce Wayne?
I thought so, but really I don't think it was. I don't think he really put two and two together. He was just...
I don't think he did.
No.
Yeah, I agree. I think he just was rambling.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was rambling. He was rambling for a long time, for sure.
Yes.
So
that scene...
Well, wasn't that a great scene?
It was.
It was a great scene because you thought that he knew.
That's what I thought,
they did
right?
that. I thought that was a great scene.
It was a great scene, but do you think it was very similar to The Dark Knight, where Batman is interrogating the Joker at the police station? You remember that scene?
There's some similarities.
It's immediately when that scene happened, that's what I mean. I'm like, oh, a little thief here, a little stealing going here. Because very similar to that, right? You know, they have that big meeting in the interrogation, and then boom.
So I'm interested in your takes on the other characters too. What do you think of Gordon, his portrayal?
Different, and I enjoyed it. I loved Jeffrey Wright anyhow.
Yes, I like him a lot too, right? So
yeah. But I thought the way they had his character in this movie, it was pretty good. I liked his play with the other officers. I liked his play with Batman. I liked it personally. I liked him.
You know, it's funny, the cop scene, that was always weird to me. Like, Batman was always on the cops, and cops don't like him. And I got a very, 70s vibe from the movies, too, especially the way the cops looked and talked and dressed, right?
Yeah.
So, it reminded me of some of the old 70s movies that dealt with, police back in the day, for sure. So...
with the big mustaches.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, the other thing that bothered me in this movie was Selina, her mask. What the hell was that mask? It was like a sock cut out or something. It's like, why are you even wearing that? Couldn't you put together a better mask for her? It's just like...
I don't know, she was poor. Didn't you notice that? She owed, she would get electricity shut off because she wasn't paying it?
Yeah, but she could afford that beautiful outfit. Nothing poor about that outfit and boots she's wearing. But
and a nice motorcycle too, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And she's got a mask, like a 3-year-old cut out to wear it so no one would recognize her. Like, no one's going to recognize her with that mask.
Hey, but Frank, it didn't really matter because I don't care what she's wearing. I'm a fan always. I am a straight fan. And I thought she did a really, really good job. And I would love to see her come back in one of the next movies.
Yeah, she did a good job.
Yep.
No, it was cool. Just the mask is just like, come on, man. You know.
Yeah, the mask did kind of get on my nerves.
Come on, why are you wearing it? Just take it off. This is a joke.
You know who killed it, I thought, was the crime lord. I love anytime John Turturro was on the scene, right, as a crime lord. So I thought
Yes. I thought he did a great job, Kevin. Realistic. He fit the part.
he did.
I thought he did a great job.
He aged well into the part too, right?
Yes.
All right, what do you think about the 3-hour time limit? Did it feel like 3 hours to you, or you thought it should have ended a half hour earlier? What do you guys feel how the time of the movie? I mean, it was a long movie.
I'll go first. I didn't feel long, and so I thought the length was about right. They did a lot of world building, and they took their time on stuff too, right? Especially towards the puzzles and stuff. So I almost think it had to be 3 hours to give the movie its length and breadth, especially when you're dealing with detective stuff like that. So.
How about you?
I didn't find any part of the movie dragging per se. I can't think back and say maybe the car scene was a little bit too long. Maybe I'm trying to think if there's any longer scene that was sticking out. No, I thought the length was perfect actually.
All right.
So.
How about you, Raphael? What did you think?
What I thought was, had somebody not told me this movie was 3 hours, I wouldn't have known.
Right.
That's how I thought the movie went. So I thought the movie, like Kevin, I thought they did a really good job entering in the different scenes as they should. And I thought they did a really good job. It was interesting because I knew it was 3 hours. I looked at my watch and it was 9 o'clock and they had captured the Riddler. So I'm like, whoa, we got 30 more minutes and they've captured this guy? So I'm like, what are they going to do next? So I thought that was kind of interesting in how they brought everything together at the end. So, yeah, 3 hours, it was fine. If you don't know it's 3 hours, I think you go through the movie and you think it's like a regular 2 hour superhero type movie.
That's right. So now that this one's in the books, which it sounds like we're pretty all on board about being pretty happy with it, how do you rate the Batmans now?
Well, Frank, you gotta talk about the ending. I think the ending was
the ending.
What made the movie for me?
The ending,
like, starting from when Riddler's plan went off. Right?
Yeah,
'Cause he really did succeed. He blew up the seawalls, right, and flooded the city.
Yeah,
and then that whole part in the I'll call it Madison Square Garden because that's what it looked like to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like his whole like character arc at the end, like so he was talking about I'm vengeance, and then he became like a different Batman at the end, right? Like where he was okay, I need to be more hopeful. And what I thought was cool too is at the beginning everything was dark. Like, did you notice that scene when he was Bruce Wayne after he came into the light and he was almost flinching because the light was too bright because he was so used to being in the darkness?
I didn't notice that.
I didn't catch it either. No, I didn't catch it either.
So, and then at the end, what is he doing? He knocks that criminal down, and the criminal says vengeance, and it like clicks something with him, like, hey, I can't be all vengeance and just beating up the criminals. It's not working, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've been Batman for 2 years. Crime is up.
Right.
And then he switches and he starts to help the people that are trapped. And then that one girl didn't want to let him go because she was scared as she was getting up to the medical helicopter. And then you had that whole monologue of hope, right? So I thought that was interesting to take a Batman from a creature of vengeance to a creature of possibly hope in the next movie where he's not going to be so dark and brooding. And I don't know if they earned it 100%, but I thought it was an interesting direction to take Batman, right? Yep. So
that's a good point.
Interesting you talk about that, the kid in the helicopter. I thought it was a girl at first, but then I looked at the end part, and was that the boy?
No, the boy he helped. But I was just thinking he was helping the wounded up to the top and getting him airlifted off, right? So.
Yeah, Kevin, and as you started talking about the end, I also think we should talk about at the end with the Riddler and his conversation with his cell buddy over there. I thought that was pretty awesome. Because at first I didn't know who it was. I thought it was Batman at first. I was like, oh, who is that? But I love how they're introducing the characters for the next movie. That was sweet. So, that's genius.
That would be like a Marvel mid-credits scene, right? They just put it at the end of the movie, which I thought was cool, right? So...
Yeah,
so that was good.
It was good, but did you think? Another comparison I have is the whole Riddler's people. I don't know what you want to call them, his followers or whatever. Right at the end, gonna complete his mission or whatever. That felt a lot similar to me. Once again, The Dark Knight with the Joker. He had the victims dressed up as the terrorists, and the terrorists were dressed up in Joker masks like they were victims. So they would kill all the wrong people and then have that whole judgment thing about who was going to press the bomb on the boat first. Didn't it kind of have a feel like that to it, similar to that?
Maybe. I don't know. I wasn't thinking about that scene when I was watching it. I was just, but I think there's some similarities there for sure, right? So.
All right. Batman's now. Now we got this one in the book. Going back to, we'll talk to the Batmans in our generation, you know, with Michael Keaton, you know, and then what we have, Val Kilmer, and then you had George Clooney, and then you had Christian Bale, and then Ben Affleck, and now we got our friend Bob. How would you compare Bob to the previous people that have played Batman?
Kevin, what order would you put him in?
I don't know. It's tough to say. I've liked Nolan movies a lot, right? So I put those. Christian Bale ahead of everybody. I don't know. Pattinson has to get a couple more movies under his belt to see what direction he goes next, right? So I would say Michael Keaton next because Val Kilmer was okay. And then George Clooney his movies were just trash. So, no hate to George Clooney, but he wasn't in the best position as Batman. We were all campy and everything, right? So. All right.
How about you, Raphael? How do you rate him? Rank them, I should say.
You know, exactly the same order. Like I said, you know, I'm a little bit older. I went to the movies to see that first Batman with Jack Nicholson, and fell in love from there. But I really think that Christian Bale in that series was just awesome, and I could follow it, and it took it to the next step. So, but this one, like I said, is just different. So I agree with Kevin. You know, we'll have to wait a couple movies.
Yep.
But I still say Christian Bale right now would be my favorite Batman.
I don't know about you guys, but Christian Bale, I agree, he's great. But the thing that annoyed me, or took me out of him all the time, he has like this mole by his eye. So whenever they had a close-up of that, I'm like, oh shit, it's the mole. Oh shit, it's the mole. Get that removed. You're a movie star. You're a millionaire. Get that thing hacked.
There's truth to that, right? That's a little distracting when he's got.
I would get distracted all the time by it. All right, so let's go ahead and rate this thing. Start with you, Raphael. What one from 10 to 1, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best? How would you rate the story?
Oh, the story.
The story.
I think I'd rate the story itself 7.8.
7.8 or 7 or 8?
7.8.
7.8?
7.8.
How about you, Kevin?
I think I'm along Raphael's similar. I would go with 7.5. I think this is a movie that would get better on more viewings, right? So right now I'd say 7.5. I bet as I watch it more, it'd go closer to 8 as you get to understand more of the plot and more of the riddles and everything else that's going on. So
great. All right. I give the story an 8.7. I had low expectations for this. I did. And I just loved the introduction of him like more of like a detective working with the police instead of being chased by the police and helping solve a murder mystery. I thought that was sweet. And then, like you guys said, he's playing Batman more than he is Bruce Wayne. The movie's about Batman. Not him trying to fight his identity of both being Bruce and Batman and so forth. So that I loved it. I can't remember another Batman that spent so much time in the suit. It was
That's
sweet to me. I loved that part of it. Acting, Raphael, how would you rate the acting?
I give the acting 7.2. I thought they did a really, really good job.
7.2. All right. And Kevin, what do you give the acting?
Dude, Raphael, you're lowballing all the actors. I thought all the actors were good, right? It wasn't even the issues I have Robert Pattinson at the beginning. He won me over. I would give it an 8 for sure. So
an 8.
Yeah, there's a couple of scenes in there. The mayor, the girl was trying to be mayor, and
Yeah.
I didn't like at the end where she got shot, but then when he's helping her out,
She's swimming.
She's walking around. Yeah, everything's good.
Yeah.
There's a couple scenes that I was like, but I thought they did really good.
So
I thought they did really good.
we didn't talk about Penguin.
Right.
I thought that was Colin Farrell, right?
Yeah.
You can tell it was him.
I thought it was De Niro. Seriously, I thought it was De Niro.
No, he did a really good job.
Yes, he did.
I think, was that Russell Crowe that was like police captain that got killed at the beginning, like with the rats? Russell Crowe.
It was some nobody guy. I looked him up afterwards.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I never heard of this guy. Yeah. So you gave it 8. What was it? 7.2, and then Raphael, and then you gave. What are you giving it, Kevin? 8.0.
8. I give an 8. So
I gave it an 8.1. I thought the acting was pretty solid. I was impressed with the acting. I do agree with the mayor. I think she was the worst actor in the movie. I couldn't take her seriously in any of the scenes she was in. But
the 2 scenes she was in.
Yeah. They had her on TV or whatever. That was her most believable scene. But then when she got shot and then she's swimming and then and talking to Brewster and the funeral, I was like, whatever. But I was just blown away by Bob's acting. I mean, how it was basically just his eyes and the way he was looking at stuff, that he was able to give you that emotion through his eyes and his facial expressions, which I think is really hard to do. Cinematography. What do you give the score for cinematography, Raphael?
8. I thought the cinematography in the movie was phenomenal, and I really appreciate how the director introduced scenes, the backdrops. I thought it was phenomenal. 8.
8. All right. And Kevin, what do you give the cinematography?
Hey, Mark also. I thought the use of light and shadow and just the atmosphere of the movie was excellent. So we'll go high on that. We'll still do a 8.2.
8.2?
Right? So.
All right. I gave it an 8.7. I just loved it, man. The subtle things they did, like the whole, like we talked about the elevator scene with the gun flashings and things like that.
Yeah.
A lot of scenes of his silhouette, like on rooftops and stuff, where he's talking to Selena at the end and things like that. They kept zooming out in the sky, and you can see this cape flying in the background. The scene where he had that epiphany about vengeance, and now he's going to help people, and he's got the flare, and he's walking the people out through the water.
Yeah, that was cool.
And the view they're giving you from above, the way it looks.
Yeah.
Oh, I was like, oh my God, that's so cool looking. So yeah, for a superhero movie that put a lot of thought into that vision of what they wanted to show on film and the view of it, I was liked it, and the whole darkness of it, I enjoyed it. CGI, Raphael, how do you give the CGI?
I thought the way I looked at the movie with the cinematography and just trying, sometimes when you're looking at things, you're like, is that CGI? Is that for real?
Yeah.
And, I didn't have that problem in this movie. So I'd again give it good ratings, real good ratings, 8.2.
8.2. All right. Kevin, what do you give the CGI?
Good point. Like, there's nothing that stood out to me like it was like looked fake. Everything looked grounded and real. I would say about 7.5. If there's any CGI, it was really invisible to me, right? So
I had only one problem with the CGI. It was the scene where he jumped off the building and was kind of flying a little bit, and the way they showed him flying, the scene like they closed up on his face and like the background.
There was one, yes.
And
you know what? I forgot about that.
Yeah, I did too.
I was like, oh shit, don't fuck this up. No,
I forgot about that scene. Yes.
But because of that, it took me off for a second. Because then I'm like, oh, this is CGI. You know, I'm back into reality. I was pulled into pretend land. Now I'm pushed back into reality here. So I still give it high, though, 8.4, because that was the only one little thing I found distracting to me. So let's give an overall score here. Raphael, overall, what do you score this movie?
Overall, I would score this movie. I really enjoyed it. When it comes to realism, I think this movie has all the aspects that you want with a movie for realism, and it's a superhero movie. So I'm going to go 8.0.
8.0. Very strong score. All right. Kevin, overall, what do you give this movie?
Similar to Raphael, I think I'll go an 8. I think it's a very good start to another trilogy of Batman movies. I'm very excited to see what they'll go next, right? So
2 solid 8s from both of you. All right. Overall, I give this movie an 8.4.
Oh, man.
8.4.
That's high for Frank.
It is.
Frank, isn't it like, this gotta be the highest ever rating you ever gave a movie? Usually when I watch one, you're usually tearing movies apart.
Yes.
Taking them down.
That dude sucks.
Yes. I think the only one that I've scored higher was the Spider-Man movie. I think that was my highest one. But again, I had no I didn't want to get my heart broken again, right? My heart gets broken every time I'm excited about something. So I was like, this is gonna be a shit show. And that's the attitude I had when I went to that theater. And then I saw 3 hours. I'm like, shoot. I mean, I'm gonna feel the 3 hours. I didn't feel the 3 hours. Entertained, dark, completely different than what I expected. And that's why, and it's so unique. With Hollywood, it's so hard to find unique movies anymore. They find this blueprint, they follow this blueprint, and you can predict everything. This was so different in the fact that it was so darker. He was kind of like a detective. He's narrating. I didn't even think of those type of things in this type of movie. And to see it, that's why I gave it so high. The kudos of trying to be original here.
Yeah, they took a chance for sure. They took a chance to take the movie in a different direction. And so I really give them thumbs up for that. And I appreciated my experience because it was in a different direction. And that's the same old thing that we always see with Batman or with other superheroes. So I liked it.
All right. Any final thoughts there, Kevin?
No, I think Raphael did it. I do have a question for you, Frank. Don't you have a Batman on your desk somewhere?
I do. He's right.
What Batman is it?
That's the Christian Bale one. The only one you need up until this point, right?
Is that your favorite Batman?
The Michael Keaton one. He's pretty. I got a Michael Keaton one too. He's at home, but yeah, he's pretty.
You
sweet
need to bring
too.
the Michael Keaton and you need to celebrate Batman.
Separate them. Put the Michael Keaton one in there now.
Yeah, exactly. So.
All right, I'll do that. Yeah, Christian Bale. Yeah, I thought he did a great job, so that's why he's on the desk. All right, so that's our review for Batman. Raphael gives it an 8. Kevin gives it an 8, and Real Frank gives it an 8.4. Thanks for watching.
Amazing
Because of the 8.4. All right, till next time. Thanks for watching.